Well, hello everyone. On this October 24th, 2024, I am Shawn Stewart, founder and CEO of 586 Sports, which used to be Sports for America. And in this live stream, I will give you the best survivor picks for NFL and college football on Splash Sports. And my username is up top at 586 Sports S on Twitter, also known as X, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. All right. And then, matter of fact, I can show you my social media, by the way, so you can see it because I got a lot of banners. All right. So there you have it. It is 586 Sports S. So you have any questions that you want to ask about your survival pool, that is my username as well. And also, you can also follow 586 Sports on Instagram, X, TikTok, and Threads at 586 Sports S as well. Okay, so let's do a recap of what happened last week, and then I'll get on how you can enter on one of my three contests on Splash Sports. So as I was looking, and also, and by the way, I just want to make a disclaimer. I'm also on LinkedIn as well, so I just want to make that disclaimer. So we have 58 minutes before Thursday night football. That is between the Minnesota Vikings and the LA Rams. So as I was looking, because I know I was undefeated in my picks for NFL, so I was 4-0, and then on college I was 3-1. So the thing about when I made that pick, let me look at my pick. So week 7, so I chose the between Carolina and Washington. I chose Washington. Washington blew Carolina out. Then I said Tennessee and Buffalo. Buffalo won that game. I picked the Bills. Then I said avoid two games. That is Houston and Green Bay. Green Bay barely won that game. And then also Detroit and Minnesota, especially since you lost Aiden Hutchinson. So both of those games that I said were trapped, those games were close. But if you chose like Detroit or Green Bay, my hats off to you because most people don't usually take risks like that in survival pool. Then I also said between the Raiders and the Rams, pick the Rams because at first I was very worried, but then when the second half came, Rams won that game in Los Angeles, and then the Dolphins and the Colts. Now this one I was really sweating, right. I was sweating between that game. Colts end up winning that game as well. And then also for my college, I did say Michigan and Illinois as a trap because that game Michigan was favored by 3, and I told everybody, don't take that game. Don't take that game. I don't know what the heck was Vegas was thinking about because Michigan's offense is trash as a Michigan fan. Then I said UCLA and Rutgers. That game was trapped because you didn't know what to expect. UCLA won that game. Then I told you that take Oregon over Purdue because Purdue was a god awful team. They won it 35-0 on Friday night. Then the one pick I got wrong was Iowa and Michigan State. I said Iowa. And then the game between Nebraska and Indiana, I said Indiana because I like the way they offense, but I never thought that Indiana will blow Nebraska out, as Nebraska will play Ohio State this Saturday, and then Indiana will host Washington. All right. So that is the recap I did. Now, I'm going to give you the instructions on how to enter on two of my survival pool picks and NFL Pick'em Confidence. So here's how you do it. So the contest is $10 each to participate. So let me get that out the way. So here's how you do it. So number one, you're going to download the Splash Sports app on Google Play or on the Apple App Store. And then after that, you're going to download the Splash Sports app and you're going to create your account on Splash Sports and use my referral code UUM2IX. You'll see it in the description box under referral code after you download the app while you're signing up. Now, after you create your account, along with my referral code that I just gave to you a couple of seconds ago, go on to the search bar up top and type in my username 586 Sports S to follow my channel on Splash Sports for future cash prize contest. All right. And don't forget to invite your friends and family as well. So and here's a promo, by the way. I want to give this out. Now, on those contests, you'll see says a $10 entry. So if you were to put in one entry, that'd be $10. Now, if you put two, not only it'd be $20, but you'll also get $10 free. So take that time to use that opportunity as well. All right. So now that we got out the way, I'm going to now give you my NFL picks first, and then my college football survival pool picks. So if you're just joining along, feel free to ask questions if you like to ask about the app as well. All right. So we're gonna go to my screen, and let me see if okay, that was just my phone asking like, hey, make sure you enter your entry. Yes, I do know that. So we're gonna go with the NFL first, okay? So there we have it. As you know, if you are listening to this live stream, I do not pick Thursday night football games because Thursday night football is bad luck. So that's just my opinion. So there's another game I did not do a research on. That is the Jets and Patriots. I will let you know, like, I would not take that game because that could be like an ugly game. And since you don't have Tom Brady, if it was Tom Brady, I would have said pick the Patriots. But since it's no Tom Brady because he's been retired for 2 seasons now, so I would recommend you not picking that game. So just get that right off the bat. All right. So let me go to there we go. All right. So the first one we're going to do is the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos, as you are looking right now on the screen. Okay. So that game is 425. So as of right now, the Broncos are 4-3. The impressive wins over the Saints, Buccaneers, and Raiders. They barely beat the New York Jets under rookie quarterback Bo Nix. The Broncos are number 1 in the league in yards per play allowed, number 5th in points per allowed, and 10th in turnovers forced. Now, as for the Panthers, they're 1-6 on the season, and the team's offense continues to struggle under Andy Dalton. So even if the Panthers went to Bryce Young, I like Denver in this home game. And since the start of last season, Carolina is 1-12 straight up on the road. So right now, the Broncos likely aren't a team I survive in Survivor for late in the season, but it depends on what your Survivor pool looks like. There's a couple of teams that you can look at. So if you're having one team to pick, please use that wisely and check for the future schedules. Now, if you have 2, it wouldn't be so bad. But if you're in a survival pool league where you have to pick one team, please take the time to look at the schedule for the team that you pick or not to pick. Okay, so I do have this game as a safe, so I will pick the Denver Broncos. As a matter of fact, the Denver Broncos are favored by 10.5, so that's not bad. 10.5 is not a bad one. Not a bad one. All right, so we got number 1 out the way. So the second one we have is the Tennessee Titans and the Detroit Lions. Okay, so if you have the Detroit Lions on your Splash Sports Survivor pool, so this will be the time to use them right now, as the Lions are favored by double digits for a reason. Now, the Titans defense may be strong, but their offense does have there's lacking. Let's just say that. And right now, they're going to face a Detroit Lions team that has one of the best offenses in the NFL. So take the Lions on this, as well as the Lions last time I checked was like it's still 11.5. So the line did not move. So they're favored by a reason. And as a matter of fact, the Lions average 30 points per game, while Tennessee is 17.7. So I would take the Detroit Lions. Now, the next one we have is the Los Angeles Chargers will be hosting the New Orleans Saints. As you know, the Chargers did lose to the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. that was like kind of dreadful for me for the NFL pick'em confidence. Now, the Chargers' strong defense will beat the Saints' offense on Sunday, as the Saints has been decimated with injuries, and they will not be able to overcome a motivated Chargers team. Now, the Chargers has offense injuries of their own, but they have a superiority on the defense side of the ball, makes them a safe choice this week. So I will choose the LA Chargers. As a matter of fact, if you look at the line, it's a 7.5, which I can see this more than 7.5 if you were to ask me for that. So take the Chargers. Then the next one, it is a primetime game. We have there we go. We have the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, both of these teams are desperate for a victory, and neither should be touched this week, as the Cowboys has been excellent at rebounding from blowouts in recent years and a shorthand, and 49ers may be their next victim. So that's the game I don't want to touch. And then plus you also got to think about Mike McCarthy's situation in Dallas, because things are not going too great in Dallas. So if I were you, I would avoid that. I would not touch that game. Then you also have the Buffalo Bills and the Seattle Seahawks. All right. Now, Josh Allen was able to erase his dreadful first half against the Titans last week with an incredible second half and now he's going against a strong Seattle offense, as he will not have the luxury of the opposition falling off a cliff, as Geno Smith and Kenneth Walker III had to miss the beat this season. And of course, when you're in Seattle, as a road team, it's going to be hard for you to beat Seattle. So that game, I would not touch that. I will not touch that. And then another one you have, it's a rivalry game. You have the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, not only did Tampa lost on Monday night, but they also lost Chris Godwin and Mike Evans to injury, as they're going to face the Atlanta Falcons for the NFC South. So the Falcons are more likely going to be motivated, and their healthy lineup will pull out the win, if you were to ask me that question. So divisional games can be tricky. So once again, that's another game I'm going to avoid. And as the weeks go by, it's going to be even tougher. So if I were you, I would avoid that as well. So avoid that. Now that we got the NFL out the way, now we're going to do college football. Now, in some cases, depending on the league you're in, so since I am on Splash Sports, I have to choose two teams like I did last week. So last week, oh man, my throat was drying. So last week I chose Oregon and Missouri, and that game between Auburn and Missouri, that game was it was kind of scary. So I don't have to worry about Missouri no more now that they win. So thank goodness for that. Okay, let's see. It should be loading up, and it did. It did load up. It did load up. All right, so the first game we are going to do is Illinois versus Oregon, because last week I did chose Oregon because Oregon did beat Purdue, so I can't use Oregon no more. So once you use that team to pick, and if they win, you can't use them again. So last week, as I said, I told you to pick Oregon to beat Purdue. So if you have not picked Oregon, this will be the right time to do so, as Dylan Gabriel looking to exploit the Illini defense, just like Purdue quarterback Ryan Brown did a couple weeks back, and expect the Illini to struggle a lot of protecting Luke Altmaier against this Ducks team. And they're going to be playing its first home game as the number one team in the nation. So if I were you, pick Oregon. Next one, that's the game I don't want anything to do with. That is a rivalry game. That is Michigan State and Michigan. Now, Wolverine's offense is so bad that I don't want no part of that. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. As last week, as I said before, that Michigan was favored by 3 against Illinois. I don't know what the handicappers were thinking about because Michigan's offense was just terrible. And it is not just Michigan. You also got to look at Florida State and Oklahoma, as 3 of those teams don't have quarterbacks. So please do not pick those teams. Please do not pick Michigan or Michigan State because, and not to mention that game is on the Big Ten Network. Now, next one we're going to be doing is Washington and Indiana. Now, I really want to pick Indiana in this game, but I do have a strange feeling that this game may be a upset. Now, the Hoosiers are entering this weekend with the nation's 3rd longest active winning streak, and a win by the Hoosiers will match the longest winning streak to start the season in program history. The Hoosiers are also scoring 44 points per game, which is top 3 in the country, along with a passing offense averaging 299 yards per game, top 12. Now, the Huskies have the nation's #1 pass defense, which allows 127 yards per game, 50% completions, and 13 pass receptions per game, both top 5 and 4.4 yards per play. Defense overall, which is top 10. So I don't want anything to do with that game. I would avoid that at all costs. Next one we have, it's a Friday night game. That is Rutgers and USC. Now, great news for USC is they're playing at home, as both teams are struggling, especially during the conference. Now, Rutgers is 1-3, while USC is 1-4 in conference play. Now, the Rutgers quarterback Ethan Kalamanis, if I'm saying this name right, if I'm saying it wrong, please correct me, is 73rd in the nation with averaging 191 yards per game with a QBR of 19.3. They do have a running back who is great as well. Now, Miller Moss for USC is averaging 279 yards per game with a QBR of 139, which is 12th in the nation. So I like the way USC is doing lately, especially at home. So USC should not have a problem with this game. As a matter of fact, as you're seeing it right now, USC is favored by 13.5. That's a big number. And plus, they're averaging 30.3 points per game. So take USC in this situation. All right, let me get that out the way. Now, next one we have is, let me find it, LSU and Texas A&M. That is a SEC game, as both of these teams are going to be playing each other in College Station, where Texas A&M will host LSU. Now, the Aggies are a slight favorite at home inside Kyle Field. Now, the Tigers are poised to add another statement to win on their resume, as both teams are riding a 6-game winning streak since dropping their respective season openers. So this could ultimately decide the outcome in the LSU offensive line against Texas A&M pass rush, as the Tigers have allowed just 2 sacks in 7 games. That's the game I do not want no part of that. So do not take that, in my opinion. Next one we have is the Northwestern Wildcats and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, Iowa is hosting Northwestern to Iowa City for their homecoming game for the second time in 3 seasons. Iowa has won 11 of his last 14 homecoming games dating back to 2009, and 62, 44, and 5 all-time in homecoming. As you know, Iowa defeated Washington. They lost to Michigan State last week. Now, Northwestern, they're 3-4 this year. They did have an impressive win over Maryland, 37-10. But Northwestern do have a defense, but not on the offensive level, as their quarterback has struggled with efficiency this season and is capable of making plays with his feet. Launch has a completion percentage of 50.7, along with a 808 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions since taking over the starting job in week 3. Now, their running back, Northwestern, Cam Porter, is the leading rusher, has 73 carries for 320 yards and 5 touchdowns of the year. He has struggled for Northwestern in the Big Ten slate, for the Wildcats may look to use him more going forward. Now, for Iowa running back, Caleb Johnson is averaging 166 yards per play, while in losses, he is averaging 123 yards per game. So that may not see a huge difference, but there's a difference. And when you look closely at the games against Michigan State and Ohio State, which were both losses, you could tell that Johnson was tame, and that made a monstrous impact on the game. So for Iowa, for tempo and reading perspective. So I will take Iowa in this situation, and Northwestern will force Iowa to throw the football. And that's all the games. That's all the games. And it was 21 minutes. So once again, I am Shawn Stewart. Thank you so very much for taking the time to watch this live broadcast, as this is 7:22, so we only have like a couple more minutes before Thursday Night Football. Now there will be short clips on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, X as well. And later on tonight, there will be a poll question on who will win the World Series. So look for that in the future. And also tomorrow, I will be doing a NFL Pick'em Confidence at the same time tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram, X, also known as Twitter, TikTok, and Threads under 586 Sports S. So you guys have a nice and wonderful evening and enjoy your football games. Whether you're watching on Thursday Night Football or a Thursday night college football game. So take care.